I'm willing to see that I'm the one who's creating the problems for the experience of them. Everyone in this world seems to have his own special problems. Jesus, if there's a desire to create characters that seem to have problems, I'm willing to see that. Yet they are all the same and must be recognized as one if the solution that solves them all is to be accepted. Jesus, is there a desire to create all these different problems so I can avoid looking and seeing that there's only one problem and one solution? I'm willing to see that. Oh, I put that to your holy hands. Who can see that a problem has been solved if he thinks the problem is something else? Jesus, is there a desire for an experience to have a problem outside myself? To have an experience of something outside myself through problems? I'm willing to see that. I'm willing to see that in the light of truth, of happiness. Even if he is given the answer, he cannot see its relevance. Jesus, is there any desire to deny the answer that's already been given to me, that there are no problems? I'm willing to see that differently. That is the position in which you find yourself now. You have the answer, but you still are uncertain about what the problem is. A long series of different problems seem to confront you, and as one is settled, the next one, and then the next arise. Jesus, I really would like to have this desire for having problem after problem arise in the subconscious mind and to see this in the light of truth. In the light of infinite being. I'm willing to see how problems and generating problems creates a sense of a timeline, a desire for those problems so I can live on a timeline with problems. If that's true, I'm willing to see that. There seems to be no end to them. There is no time in which you feel completely free of problems and at peace. Jesus, I'm willing to see how I use problems as a decision to keep myself not at peace. I'm willing to see that. The temptation to regard problems as many is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. Jesus, I'm willing to see that there's actually an attraction to problems, to experience of problems, like there's an addiction to it. I'm willing to see that differently. The temptation to regard problems as many is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. Jesus, I'm willing to see my desire to keep the problem of separation unsolved. It's like an addiction to wanting it to be unsolved. I'm willing to see that and have that cleared. The world seems to present you with a vast number of problems, each requiring a different answer. This perception places you in a position in which your problem solving must be inadequate and failure is inevitable. Jesus, is there a desire to have an experience where problem solving is inadequate, it has to go on all the time, and just constantly feeling failure and unable to solve a problem? I'm willing to see that. I'm willing to see how I'm using problems to hide from my divine nature, deny it. No one could solve all the problems that the world appears to hold. They seem to be on so many levels, in such varying forms, and with such varied content that they confront you with an impossible situation. Oh my goodness, I feel this desire. I want to give over the desire to have an experience of an impossible situation. And see it in a new way. I'm willing to see this impossible situation in the light of divine being, actually, and stand in the light of truth on this. Dismay and depression are inevitable as you regard them. Some spring up unexpectedly just as you think you have resolved the previous ones. Others remain unsolved under a cloud of denial and rise to haunt you from time to time, only to be hidden again but yet unsolved. Yeah, I'm willing to admit, and I want to see in the light the addiction to the Ferris wheel of solving and unsolving problems and never getting off the Ferris wheel of problems. Put that over to your holy light. All this complexity is but a desperate attempt not to recognize the problem and therefore not to let it be resolved. If you could recognize that your only problem is separation, no matter what form it takes, you could accept the answer because you would see its relevance. Perceiving the underlying constancy in all the problems that seem to confront you, you would understand that you have the means to solve them all. I feel willing to see that I have the means, I have the power granted by God, the divine right. That no power that stands before the light of truth can stand before the light of truth. And you would use the means because you recognize the problem. Our longer practice periods today, we will ask what the problem is and what is the answer to it. We will not assume that we already know. We will try to free our minds of all the many different kinds of problems we think we have. We will try to realize that we have only one problem, which we have failed to recognize, that we have desired not to recognize. We will ask what it is and wait for the answer. Jesus will wait for your answer. We will be told. Then we ask for the solution to it. And then we'll be told. Jesus, what is the solution for all the problems that seem to be in a world? What's the only solution to all the problems of the world? I'm willing to see. The exercises for today will be successful to the extent to which do not insist on defining the problem. Perhaps you will not succeed in letting all your preconceived notions go, but that is not necessary. All that is necessary is to entertain some doubt about the reality of your version of what the problem is. Problems are. All that is necessary is to entertain some doubt about the reality of your version of what your problems are. I feel willing to have a doubt about what I believe my problems are. You are trying to recognize that you have been given the answer by recognizing the problem. So that the problem and the answers can be brought together and you can be at peace.